This is Off the Break Podcast, presented by Silver Screen Insider.
And welcome to our amazing 90th episode of Off the Break Podcast.
Why are you talking so quietly?
I don't know. Was it quiet?
It just sounded quiet. It probably won't be when we actually listen to the recording, but I don't know. You just started off being like, and welcome to 90 episodes in, guys.
No, I was excited. We're nearing 100.
We are nearing 100, which is crazy to think of.
Like, you would think that would be like our special 100th, but
no,
it's our special.
Nah, we're going to do it early. The big 9-0.
It is kind of a cool milestone, though.
It is.
I did not expect us to get this far, honestly.
It's a lot of hours
I had
of
faith
our
in us.
voices out there in the world.
It is. It's a lot of hours. And we got here quicker than we probably should have because when we started out, we were doing 2 podcasts a week.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I
we
forgot
did
about
Tuesdays
that.
and Fridays.
Man, I'm glad we switched to the 1 week format.
It was getting crazy.
I think I got burnt out after a while, honestly.
Yeah.
Doing it
There's
the
only
2
so
times a
many
week.
things to talk about.
Right.
Yeah.
Some weeks.
Yeah, there's only so many trailers,
It's
and
like,
then
we'll have this whole episode about this. Yeah, one trailer.
It was kind of nice because we could always talk about on Tuesdays what we had seen over the weekend.
Yeah.
A lot sooner, yeah.
When product was good, and in the summer that was easy to do. But
Well, there was some. Yeah, I guess there was
There was some
good summer
good product and some product.
yeah,
I guess I'm thinking of 2019. 2018 summer was probably better.
Oh,
than this one.
2018
Yeah.
summer.
we've been doing this for over a year now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and that's crazy. Also crazy to think of. I didn't even realize.
Yep.
Yeah, so here it is, the special 100th episode on the 90th episode.
On the 90th
This is the
episode.
milestone,
Well,
everyone.
I only bring it up because I don't think Eric's going to be around for our 100th.
Aw.
Yeah, sad to say.
Yeah.
Are we getting into this now, or
We'll
is
make it
that
close. We'll get close.
We'll get close.
okay? Well,
We've
there's
got
your
a
guys'
couple more
sneak
with-
peek to that. But
A couple more with Eric.
Cool. Well,
Yeah.
Kyle and I both saw. Well, we both saw one of these movies. Kyle saw a movie, and we both saw another.
you just
movie.
wanted to jump to Jojo Rabbit.
You did. You were
wanted to
so
so
uncomfortable. You had to change the topic.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that
Talk
too. I
about
didn't
that.
even think about that.
Jeez.
Yeah,
Um,
we can't do this to him twice in
yeah.
a row.
Well, let's talk about Jumanji first because just Kyle saw that and he
The
saw
newest
the
release.
early show last night.
Yeah.
It'll be big this weekend. How was it? Did it live up to the
Did
first
it
one?
take things to the next level?
Yeah. Did
In a
you-
matter of speaking, I suppose. I guess just to sum it up quickly, like if you guys enjoy Welcome to the Jungle, I'm sure that you guys will find Jumanji in the next level to be just as entertaining. At least that's what it was for me. I think I don't even know where to begin on this one. I did enjoy myself, but I found myself being reminded and quite a bit to Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle. Because in that first one, like there was just a lot of surprise. Like no one had any real expectations for it.
Yeah, it was kind of like a.
And it ended up being great because of the cast chemistry. Like the jokes were able to land because of their chemistry. Like it
was all new.
It turned the original movie from the 90s into something different for like the modern generation. So that was also a breath of fresh air too. And here with the next level, the surprise isn't really there anymore. The question now is just can this just be as good as what it was already? And I think, yeah, to a certain degree. For me, I did find myself enjoying it a little bit less than Welcome to the Jungle, only because I was reminding myself of familiarity, which I wasn't really a fan of. I think there was times where the movie did do stuff different creatively, did stuff creatively that was in a different direction and had good payoff. But I think for the most part, there was just too much familiarity for me to really enjoy it as much as I wanted to. But I don't think that's going to hurt audiences as much. I think if they enjoy Welcome to the Jungle, then they'll enjoy the next level all the same, which isn't a bad thing at all. I just think that's just going to be what the mass majority of people will think.
Well, as long as people aren't disappointed and they know
Which
what
they
they're
won't
getting
be.
into
I wasn't disappointed.
and it was still on the same level, I think it'll do
See,
just fine.
I think we all kind of figured this would be the case. I mean,
That
at
was your
least,
biggest
at least
worry.
me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, seeing the trailer, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the exact same movie. But like, they kind of mixed it up a little bit. Like, now Jack Black's playing this person, and Dwayne Johnson's playing this person.
Yeah. The grandpa's got it in on it. in there. So
Yeah,
there's
see,
old
that's like
people humor.
the big change. But I always kind of assumed it was going to be very familiar, kind of reuse some of the same jokes.
Yeah, it was mainly just in the jokes and I guess story beats to a degree that were all familiar,
a
which I
big
wasn't
chunk of the
too
movie.
fan of. Like
It's
the
not as-
message of the story and like why everyone's back in the game, those were a bit different. I thought they had some good payoffs towards the end, at least for the type of movie that this is trying to be, like the lighthearted family comedy that's trying to be. So
Is it as shameless a carbon copy as Hangover Part 2 was?
no,
the first
I wouldn't call
Hangover?
this. I
That
wouldn't
was
call it
my-
to that level.
That was my fear.
I
was
really
like,
don't
this is-
think people need to worry about it being that bad as like Hangover Part 2 was.
Well, Hangover Part 2, to me, if you had never seen the first one and you watched Hangover Part 2, you would probably think it's pretty funny
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's the case with this movie. Maybe, I mean, the average person doesn't see that many movies in a year.
Yeah.
And with with Welcome to the Jungle being like 2 years old now, you know, they've probably forgotten a lot about it. So they see this, and if they like the first one, but they don't remember much about it, maybe that's why they'll enjoy this one a lot.
That last part is a good point because I actually did see Welcome to the Jungle a few days ago before the next level, and that's probably why all these jokes were a bit more familiar for me.
Oh, you kind of refreshed.
I think so. I could have been a bit more refreshed than I really thought that I would be. So maybe that's part of it too. Maybe it's just because
I would think so.
people don't see that many movies in a year, and so they haven't like gone back to watch Welcome to the Jungle, but they remember like
Yeah, they're like,
this
hey,
one.
yeah, exactly. Like, hey, that was a fun time when we
Yeah.
saw that. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, we should go see this one too.
Mm-hmm. So that could be part of it, but I don't know. After viewing it, like I would say it's not the
My-
next level, but it's on the same
Well,
level.
it did like 4 million in early shows, so I think it's there. It's gonna have a great first weekend.
Yeah.
Next weekend is all about Star Wars, but
Yeah.
this
No,
weekend
the
will be about
Jumanji will
Jumanji.
take down Frozen.
I would say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
Frozen's had its run.
My
at this
biggest
point.
question about this, again, now that I know it pretty much, it's very familiar, but like how the cast dynamics, like the relationship between the game avatars to the real life people they're playing, how that compares to how it was in the first one. Because like everybody loved Jack Black playing a teenage girl. Everybody
was
loved
hilarious.
Dwayne Johnson or Kevin Hart being like the big tall jock. But they're playing different people in this one. Is it like just as funny? Is it different enough? Again, with the grandpas too, you know.
Because Jack Black
It
is
would-
now the jock character.
Yes, it's just as funny, but it's not as surprising as is like the rest of the movie. I just keep going back to thinking about how much of a surprise Welcome to the Jungle was, and how good everyone was
Yeah.
doing those types of roles. Here, like we know, like that they're good and that probably playing different characters, but kind of the same characters as well, is not going to be a big surprise. It's just a matter of if the jokes will land, and it kind of goes back to what I was saying, like. Either they're a bit familiar or some of them do have payoffs. It's really kind of like a mixed bag. As for like the grandparents or the older gentleman being involved,
That's so polite.
well, one of them's a grandparent and the other one isn't. Like one's an
Oh.
associate, so
Yeah,
they're
I've
not
just
like
totally been calling them the grandpas.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you
they're
can
not-
too, but as for them, like they have their moments. They're fun, but it also kind of gets a bit tiresome at times. Again, it's just like a mixed bag for me. Like there's stuff
It's
that
like a
works
one
and have
joke
payoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it to me it felt like, but I don't know. The audience I was surrounded with, they all seem to really be loving all the jokes for the most part. So I don't know. Maybe that was just a personal thing. Maybe I just was getting tired while everyone else wasn't.
Why? I think I'll like it. I want to see it.
Yeah, I
this
mean, I
weekend.
haven't rewatched the first one since I saw it in theaters. So
That
think-
might help.
I do think
Yeah.
that's a big part of it.
Yeah. I'm
'Cause,
not
I
going to
mean-
rewatch
Yeah,
the first
Could
one.
be. Could be.
I mean, I've not like been super excited for it,
Yeah.
but I like the first one a lot, so I'm gonna see this one.
I found I really enjoyed the trailer, and maybe that's because I hadn't, rewatched the first one, and so everything still feels
Sure.
a little fresher.
Like I said, I think the majority of people will.
Don't go watch the first one if you want to enjoy
Yeah,
this one.
don't go and rewatch like I did. I think people, no matter what, will enjoy it just as much as they enjoyed the first one. There's just a lesser surprise to it.
Oh.
Yeah, which is unavoidable.
So I think you two will end up liking it all the same, but
Yeah.
probably will recognize what I'm talking about.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
As far as new surprise films, How was Jojo Rabbit?
Yeah,
Was
it finally
everything
came
you
here. It's
hoped and dreamed it would be?
It's been out for a while, but it only just now came here.
Yeah, for whatever reason, our theater was taking a while to show this one. I'm not sure what the cause of it was, but no, it finally came. Eric and I were both able to see it.
I loved it. I saw it twice in like 3 days, I think.
Yeah, I loved it too. It's easily going to be one of my favorites, like top 5 of the year, without a doubt.
I mean, in case anybody hasn't heard about it, it's that movie where the little Nazi kid has Hitler as an imaginary friend.
Directed and written by Taika Waititi.
Yep, who plays Hitler.
Yeah.
And so he's like this little 10-year-old radicalized. He thinks like Nazi boy. His biggest dream is to join Hitler Youth and like be Hitler's like favorite little Nazi.
Become a Nazi.
And then he discovers that his mom is hiding a Jewish girl in their attic, and so that kind of sets up the meat of the movie, which is kind of his conflict of loyalty, I guess. Does he stay loyal to the Nazi party that he thinks loves him, or does he do the right thing and join his mother in trying to help this Jewish girl?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very serious topic, but it's almost always hilarious somehow, and he totally pulls it off, and that's what I think is so great about it.
It somehow has the right balance of hilarious satire with real emotional drama and weight. And usually, especially with this type of subject matter, like you'd be like, I don't know, this film could be all over the place. But instead, Taika just finds like the right balance between the two. And I think the story just in general could work for any type of viewer.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's...
If they give it a chance.
Because it's very, very thick satire. And it should be obvious, but in this day and age, a lot of people seem incapable of understanding satire.
Yeah.
So maybe it won't work for some people, but there are these... One of my favorite jokes, Rebel Wilson is in it, and she's like one of the Nazi commanders.
Yeah.
And she overhears the little boy asking another soldier about like what powers the Jews have. Like, I heard that Jews can control people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebel Wilson just kind of inserts herself in the conversation. She's like, yeah, it's true. She's like, I heard a story of like my friend's uncle, a Jew cast a spell on him, and then he became addicted to alcohol, and he started gambling, and he cheated on his wife, and then he died sad and alone in a pool, but it was the Jew's fault originally. It's hilarious seeing him just totally make as much fun as he can out of Nazis, because it's a very serious topic, but if you can point and just laugh at how ridiculous it is, that's a really effective way of like draining the power from them.
Is it just Nazis, or is it just this idea of this like these people that blindly follow this like dogma of a...
I mean, that's the bigger picture. They use Nazi Germany in, I think it's the end of the war, so it's like 45.
45 probably.
They use that as the window with which to observe that stuff. But I mean, the themes of blind loyalty and prejudice and how it starts and how people can be radicalized is just as applicable to any other time. Mm-hmm. It's just, Hitler and the Nazis is like by far the biggest example of that. So
I know that's what I really liked about it.
Yeah. And I think Taika just really wanted to play a chubby Hitler and make himself look like an idiot.
Was he a chubby Hitler, or is he?
He was great.
He's not a chubby person.
Yeah, he's
got a little chub.
He's ridiculous. Like you laugh at it so hard.
The first shot of the movie is is Jojo like kind of psyching himself up, but you see like it's a close up of his face, but then you see just Hitler's gut like walk in front of the camera and then walk behind him in the background like he's circling him.
Yeah,
just like coaching him basically. It's such a great movie. And like Kyle said, it's hilarious almost all the way through, but not to the extent where they're going to try and laugh at the real atrocities that were committed. Like, I mean, Nazis were evil. They murdered millions of people. So it's not going to gloss over that. It handles the serious parts with the seriousness that they deserve. But it's still also able to
make you laugh.
Yeah, it walks
at
this
the
line so
of it all
perfectly.
And how crazy that it almost feels like satire in of itself, the idea that people can become that.
Yeah.
and get so not brainwashed, but just so programmed to be a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like brainwash is honestly not
Mhm.
that bad of a word to use, and that's what's great too, because like his best friend is played, I forget that kid actor's name, but he has a
Want me
best
to
friend
look it
named
up?
Yorkie,
Yorkie?
if you want. Yeah, Yorkie, and he's just
He's the best.
this chubby little kid with circle Harry Potter glasses, and he's just the most adorable kid like in recent memory, like in any movie.
Yeah.
And there's so many conversations of them talking about like oh, I'm gonna capture a Jew and give it to Hitler, and he'll be so proud of me. And Yorkie's always kind of like always about the Jews. Like there are these other things that are going on. Like I don't see the big like fuss.
Yeah.
Like they look just like us. I don't get it. And it's just like knowing like the greater implications of that. It's kind of a melancholy thing to see.
Yeah.
Like these little boys don't
Use the
realize what they're
word.
actually talking about.
What
But-
does he keep blowing stuff up? I think I remember from a trailer they keep accidentally blowing stuff up.
Towards the end, because Yorkie gets drafted into he's like an actual Nazi soldier.
Yeah.
And then Jojo's like, but you're 11. He's like, I know. But Jojo, through a thing that happens earlier, he has like an accident and he gets injured, and so he can't become a soldier.
Uh-huh.
He's turned into like a little mailman, and people
Oh.
make fun of him. But yeah, towards the end, when America's like liberating the town, Yorkie's like carrying, I forget what they're called, the Panzerfaust. It's like the German bazooka. They're carrying that, and he sees Jojo, and he's like so happy to see him. He accidentally drops it, and it like shoots a rocket
It's
into
in
a building.
it's in one of the trailers,
Yeah,
I believe.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the thing you probably saw.
No,
Oh.
his performance is probably one of my favorites of the year. It's so
Everybody in
I don't
this
know.
movie.
It's genuine. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's just so sweet and genuine, and it works perfectly with
Yeah.
that movie too.
You just look, especially Yorkie, the whole time. You're like, this kid's not a Nazi. He doesn't even really think he's a Nazi. He's just kinda like,
doing it because that's what you do.
He thinks he's in like the Boy Scouts.
Yeah, that's really that's really is what he think.
But no, it's a great movie. It's very, very well done, and it's as hilarious as it is. Like, I would call it a straight up comedy, and you don't really. There are good comedies most years, but not a lot of them stick in your mind
Yeah.
Yeah.
or like last. But I feel like, at
This
least
one
for me,
will.
yeah, this is an all time great comedy.
Absolutely.
At least recently.
I couldn't agree more with that.
I'm still debating whether I want to see it. I really want to see a good comedy and a good satire. I just know there's things in it that I might not really like. So
Yeah, but they're
I'm
true.
I know, so I'm trying to get over that and
And
close my eyes
and
during
there's
those
gonna-
parts.
And there's probably a lot of people that feel the same way, but
Yeah.
I would implore them to try and give it a chance.
It just kind of
You'll be
like,
sold from like the first scene.
yeah.
I know
think
I
it's gonna
was.
be
Like first 5 minutes
great.
I was like, I'm gonna love this.
It's easy
movie.
to like hesitate about these things knowing that stuff's coming, but when you watch the movie
Yeah.
and you're along for the ride at the momentum the movie's going, when you get to those scenes, it makes perfect sense.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really sad. But you have the whole context of the movie beforehand that just makes it worth it. And then it has a fantastic ending. It's totally worth it.
When I saw the trailer, I really wanted to see it. I was like, this is Scorsese cinema.
This is true cinema.
This is true cinema.
This is what he was talking about.
See what you're doing there.
Well, as far as Jojo Rabbit, I think it should do really well. Do you think that because it's a satire and that maybe people are missing the point of that it's going to get hurt on awards? Like they're going to be like, I can't.
I'm wondering
reward you
some of
for-"
the I can't remember all the specific ones, but like a handful of the nominees that have been announced for these different ceremonies, it's been nominated in a lot of like the top prizes, or at least in like the screenplay or like
Directing.
not directing. I can't remember. It might have been the SAG Awards or something,
Yeah.
but basically it's shown up in some ceremonies but not in others, and I'm wondering if I wouldn't say it's necessarily because it's a satire or the subject matter, maybe, but I think it's just so crowded,
This
and
year?
awards always give comedies the short end of the stick.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Bummer.
It was one of the top films in the American Film Institute. I'm trying to see if
Yeah, see, it's showing up
New
on
York
a lot of
film
top
critics.
top 10 end of the year lists and stuff. So
yeah,
people
I don't
who
know.
see it like it.
I honestly could see it not getting the love that it deserves, and I'm gonna be really mad about that.
I'm assuming the Academy's not going to do their full 10 nominees, even though they could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But since they never do, my hunch is that it won't make it in.
It
But
should though.
Yeah, it totally should. If they had the full 10 slots, I think it could.
Make it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I agree with that too.
Nice. All right. Well, moving on. Nerd culture. Defending the massive corporations.
Yeah, there's this really interesting article that I forget his name. I should know this.
You
Alex.
didn't write it down.
No, I have it right. I have it right here.
Do
Alex
you have the article?
Papademos? Pappy.
Yeah, it's a crazy name.
Papadopoulos?
Here, you
I was calling Alex Papa.
maybe here you
Is it
pronounce it.
Papadopoulos?
Papademus.
We are so sorry,
Oh my
Alex.
gosh, we're so
We
It's
know
a
you're-
fantastic article.
we
but
know
I
you're
don't
a
know how
fan
to
of the
say
show.
it.
Where
We
was it
apologize.
published at?
It was on Medium, so it's kind of like a I would call it more of an essay. It's not like an article from a
Right.
traditional publication. But I mean, it's kind of a longer one, but I've summarized some parts that I thought would be good to quote. But kind of the idea of the article is it's exploring what it means now that the biggest, like, superhero movies are obviously ubiquitous. They're everywhere. It's the biggest thing.
Right.
But what it means that
I think it touches on the areas of toxic fandom
oh yeah.
and like trolling the internet,
Mm-hmm.
trolls on the internet, but also puts it in this larger context of what happened in the transition when we saw superhero movies take off and this idea of quote nerd culture
Yeah.
becoming the dominant entertainment culture.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah. It's like
how
well, it also ties into the whole Martin
Yeah.
Scorsese thing too, and how they they talk about Marvel movies because that's the easiest catch-all
Yeah.
term, but they just mean like the big blockbuster,
right,
the
they
event
mostly
film.
mean like superhero
Yeah.
films. They do go back. It wasn't just Disney, Marvel, but they do go back and talk about how it was really set off with Dark Knight
Yeah.
and this idea of
Batman Begins.
or Batman Begins,
Yeah.
yeah, and this idea of like comic book movies, which have always been around.
Oh
It's
yeah. But
just,
they used to be really bad,
Right.
really cheesy, really
Yes.
easy to make fun of.
yeah,
Like I don't think anybody's seen the '90s Captain America movie, but like
Nor
I've seen
should
scenes
you.
from it. But it's
Yeah.
so bad, like, but and then it also kind of goes into why this debate of what is true cinema versus not true cinema. It's
Yeah.
not necessarily about the specific movies. It's about how, like, the prevalence of blockbusters could,
Right.
make it really hard for other types of movies to be made.
yeah. I think what I got from the article was the idea of you prescribe to a fandom, and then you're in that fandom. You used to be kind of just like described as nerd culture. Oh, you're a nerd
Yeah.
if you really liked and followed certain things beyond the media that you get them from. So if you like comic book and action figures, or if you liked Star Trek TV show and you got the action figure, like that idea of taking it a step further was predominantly just a nerd culture in like the 70s and the 80s. But
Yeah.
then as
Early
these-
2000s.
yeah. And then as these blockbusters started to come and there was a shift, and that secret kind of like nerd culture that was always like an outcast culture became the dominant culture and became something that everybody was like, oh, I'm a Marvel fan or I'm a Star Wars fan. And that became part of their actual core identity, media wise and entertainment wise, that the people that had previously been on the outside were now like the harbingers of this new culture. And they were, I don't know how they go after criticism of their whatever their fandom is, but at the detriment of the creativity and the individualism of that, and the kind of outside origins of where that culture came from. So
Yeah, no, there are two quotes that I saw that actually pretty much clarify what we're trying to say. The first one is There have always been people who will tell you that arty things are stupid, that liking them is pretentious, and that preferring arty things to mass market entertainment is a symptom of elitism. The thing that's new about MCU Twitter's reaction to Scorsese's statements, the whole Marvel movies aren't cinema in his opinion, is that people making these arguments against the supposed privileging of a certain type of arty thing are doing it without rejecting the notion that movies should aspire to fulfill an audience's need for profundity. They're just arguing that we can and should look to corporate superhero movies to provide it.
They're basically just being corporate cheerleaders.
Yeah.
And they're defending corporate culture that doesn't need to be defended.
Do you think they're accidentally doing that, though? Because I don't think when they're making those arguments, they're thinking of the bigger picture. I think they're only thinking of
of course
the
they're
movies
not,
themselves.
but that's the reality.
For me personally,
of the
that's
situation.
what I do to a degree. I'm
and
thinking
then
of the movies themselves and not.
I mean, the
big
follow-up
corporate
thing is,
picture.
it would be funny if it weren't funny at all. Most of the time, corporations have to pay people to lay down this kind of astroturf on their behalf. This is what nerds are now, a volunteer army of PR freelancers for the biggest media companies in the world.
Right.
And it's
really sad.
It's a sad thing because, obviously they're not going like, how dare you rip on my multi-$100 billion corporate franchise. Yes, of course they're defending the movies, but I feel like they don't really realize the repercussions of that because obviously Disney loves it. They're going to eat it up.
I
They'll
feel like
keep doing this.
Are they really defending the movies, or are they defending Captain America or Iron Man from any sort of criticism, however he is portrayed?
Well, that's an important thing because one thing that I thought of off the top of my head is a lot of people who start getting into movies or to art in general will start in kind of the same entry level area, and so I feel like a lot of these people maybe weren't into cinema as a whole.
Yeah.
But then when they saw a movie was being made about their favorite superhero, they decided to go see it, and maybe that was the first time that they were like genuinely emotionally moved by a movie. So in their minds, like, yeah, of course, that's a great movie to them. Whereas somebody who has maybe has been dabbling in quote unquote true cinema for a lot longer, they've seen the much more different types of movies, how things can be done. They'll look at Marvel movies and be like, oh, well, it's entertaining, but that's kind of like really basic. Yeah. So I'm wondering, and then maybe if people saying that, they'll get defensive because they'll think that's an attack on their movies because they're like, no, I want my taste to be good. Mm-hmm. These movies are good because I like them.
Yep.
You're kind of attacking my taste.
Yeah, because you never had people before who went out and watched what we call upscale art films or Scorsese with his true cinema. They don't go out and like buy an action figure or get the poster or do all these other things. There's a behavior attached to these fandoms that goes to the core of people's identity. Mm-hmm. That when you attack the symbol, the hero symbol of whatever it is that they've attached themselves to, whether that's Captain America or Iron Man or Aquaman, whatever value system that they've attached to that hero, then you're really attacking their core identity, and they can't separate the concept that like it's okay to criticize them without criticizing that Captain America is brave or Iron Man is smart or all these other things that they prescribe to.
Oh, it's very complicated because it's to a lot of the. I hate to keep saying like nerd culture because that's just the biggest, broadest thing ever. But for simplicity's sake, I'll say that. I feel like for a lot of the people in nerd culture who subscribe to that, people aren't attacking when they say Endgame was blah, blah, blah. In their minds, it's
of 2019.
In their minds, they're not getting angry at the fact that they're saying that Endgame as a movie is bad. They're saying that like, these superheroes, the whole journey that you've been on that gets here, it's not that good. It's everything that goes with it.
Just kidding.
But it's just sad that the only place that they're getting this emotion comes from these gigantic corporations that could not care less about them.
No.
They just want their money.
Well, and that they keep them to such a vanilla certain level that they're really not true. I want to say true emotions. They're very just bland, even keel emotions. And if that's the only emotional story you're on, that's kind of sad. Like that was always my criticism with Captain America. They never gave him a real relationship. People could argue that, oh, he went back to Peggy. I'm like, oh, he went back to the very first girl that like ever kissed him. Like,
that was one of Martin Scorsese's original, or when he clarified in his own essay, he talked about how there's not a lot of risk in them.
There's no
which
risk.
To an extent is true.
There's real no development.
People try and retort by saying like, well, what about like Infinity War? Like half of the universe died, and it's like nobody thought that they were actually gone. Literally nobody thought that.
And the whole second movie was trying to get them back so that they wouldn't be gone.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the whole second movie could have been just them moving on. Like the world wouldn't have moved on. The reality is the world would have moved on.
Yeah. See, those big moments, it's like maybe in the context of the Marvel movies, they seem like big moments, but if you're surprised by them and think that that's like what Martin Scorsese's talking about, you obviously haven't seen a lot of other types of movies that actually
or just storytelling in general. It's not just movies. Like video games are not not too many of them are heavy story based or go too deep. And then their TV. I mean, Game of Thrones was maybe closest to a deep storyline, but even that fell at the end.
Well, I mean, yeah, Game of Thrones specifically. People would, I mean, our TV is a whole other thing because people say we're in like peak TV, and there's just so much good content out there. But I haven't seen a lot of it.
Right.
Because I'm a movie guy. But
well, but I guess my point was that in the media, though, because TV wants to keep going, they're not gonna just kill off the whole cast and series done after one season. Like there's still that whole, timeline of they've got to have season after season usually.
Well, the thing that I keep trying to stress, and that I feel like so many people who get swept up in this debate online always lose track of, because they're reacting emotionally to like, how dare you say my favorite movies aren't cinema? That's not what it's about. So another quote, a short one, is, "This isn't about what is or isn't cinema. It's about whether the corporations that already dominate so much of the cultural landscape through pure market share should also be allowed to set the parameters of what we can ask from art." And that's, I feel like, the actual thing that Martin Scorsese was originally trying to get at, because it's an ugly situation, because obviously we've talked about, theaters want to play the stuff that's going to make the money.
Right.
But if the stuff that makes the money is only going to be these giant tent poles, at when does that start coming at the expense of anything that tries to do anything different?
Yeah. I think for me what the article really touched on was it was just so much the pushback from criticism. It's okay to criticize Marvel and Star Wars for not being these like in-depth emotional journeys, for just being mass-produced media. I mean, and that's always been around. Like there have been, if you even look back at the like literature, there are deep dives in literature, and then there are mass-produced penny-back books that
all of those young adult novels.
Yeah, and then all the young adult paperbacks, and so there's always like certain levels, and I think people, I don't know why that debate has never been talked about with cinema, or maybe it just hadn't been so apparent till we got to this point of Marvel films, because there had always been variety, and now that there's not as much.
That I think is due to just how big Marvel has gotten, and just how big social media has gotten as well.
Yeah, it's all of these things coming together at the same time.
Yeah, these arguments I'm sure have been around for years, like before Marvel movies were popular. Like there was other blockbusters that were
Marvel movies exploded at the same time that Twitter and social media really hit its peak.
Yeah.
Now everybody can talk about their opinions all the time, every day.
The combination of the two, I think, just sparked this debate that we're having now. But I think it's been around for a while, not to the degree that it is now, because it's a lot more noticeable.
I'm sure the debate has been around, but what hasn't been around is the specific, like the state of the near monopoly that Disney has of this stuff. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but
try.
Like, I mean, the whole, like, obviously the theater attendance has been going down. When people go to see the movies, they go 2-3 times a year. When they do go to the movie, they're gonna see a Marvel movie, probably. It's like that is what people are starting to think of, like that's what's worth going to see in a theater.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether or not they actually believe that, or if they've thought about it
But they're
deeper than
so
that.
willing to defend that. Though.
Yeah, because
that was what they finally went and committed to, and they don't want to hear your criticism of it.
Yeah, because it's not like these aren't good movies. Why does everybody want to see them? It's, hey, like, what is this worth losing these other types of movies? Because I don't know. It's.
I guess it also means, is it worth also just becoming such a negative troll army when people come out and criticize it? Like, I only criticize Scorsese because he drug theaters into it like it was movie theaters' fault.
Yeah,
it's not their fault.
That was
for
my
this.
issue too.
Yeah, he didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't
think
agree
carefully
with
about
what
that.
he said.
Yeah.
Like, I don't. But there's so many people that just had this whiplash reaction to it of what, and that wasn't even his main point. I don't know if it's just not critically thinking, if it's just such emotional, like, garbage being spilled out. And because social media facilitates that.
Speaking of the whole troll thing, especially when nobody needs to defend these things.
No.
Another part says, what superhero movies and violent video games aimed at 16-year-old boys and young adult fiction novels for teenagers have in common is that they were once looked down upon by the culture at large and have since become market forces so supermassive that no individual's objection to them means anything at all. Yet their adherents will tolerate no dissent, rushing to the barricades at the drop of a mean tweet.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you feel the need to do this? It's the repercussions of so many people rushing to the aid of these giant corporations. What it's saying is that, like, we don't have a problem with these types of movies dominating the entertainment industry. We like them. What's so wrong with these being the only thing?
Right.
Like, how dare you criticize them at all?
Yeah.
And
why people are so, because they didn't criticize the movie, they criticized what those people hold so close to their individual identities, and they're so hurt by that, and that's crazy. Like, it didn't affect you at all.
No, not at all. I don't know, I can't find the quote in there, but a lot of it is that kind of, there's a pretty big gatekeeping problem in nerd culture, where people will feel like they're more of a fan, or they're more attached to this, so they're more credible to talk about it. Like, you don't actually like this. I like this.
Right.
You don't even know what it means to be a Marvel or a Star Wars fan.
You might not be aware of this, but
yeah.
What's that hipster?
It's like that
probably
sense
never
of
heard of
entitlement.
it.
Yeah, you probably never heard of
that
this.
you've been there before, really.
It's a lot of his leftover
real.
gatekeeping stuff. So when people start criticizing that, then the gatekeeping that has always been there comes up.
Yeah.
But now you have millions of similar people around you online, and
These echo chambers.
Yeah, there's no way that the nerd culture are consciously saying we don't want any other types of movies.
No.
There's no way that's what they're saying. But they don't realize that when they consistently and so predictably rush to protect Disney, like, of all companies, that Disney's gonna totally, like, use it to their advantage. They're gonna be like, wow, they're doing a lot of the heavy lifting for us. This is awesome. They're gonna perpetuate our monopoly of what people think of when they think of movies.
Well, you know what's even crazier is that it's bled into, like, the creatives. Like, I'm thinking with Star Wars, everybody trolled Rian Johnson for his portrayal, and then at the time people were sticking up for it, and now they're backtracking on that now because they've got their vision of it coming out.
Oh, you're talking about the press tour, how people are, like, trying to play into the, like, that one was a little iffy.
Yeah.
Don't worry though. This will be the one you actually want.
But you probably never would have had that before.
No,
like, it
there's no way.
Would have been an issue. There's no way that the first three directors, the first three Star Wars, would ever have even talked about the other versions before.
No,
it would have been all about the story.
Well, that's another symptom because, and I'm sure Disney knows that, they're going to be like, hey, what if we kind of start trying to play the whole outrage media reactionary toxic fan culture to our advantage? Let's get them talking about this again.
Right.
And then people are going to feel like they have to go see it so they can tell really if it was better or just as bad as Last Jedi. They don't care that they're throwing their own product under the bus or their own creatives because it's going to maybe help the next one do better. Yeah. It's such a bizarre world like way to think about it, but that's what they're doing.
Because it doesn't matter about the
Tactics.
ones that came out. It only matters about
Yes.
what's new and what will sell toys.
Yeah. And they know that people are going to, like I said, at the drop of a mean tweet, in this case, in Star Wars' case, online, like the majority, like the main narrative is people like, Last Jedi was garbage, Ruin Johnson, blah, 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 blah. And they know that. So
Right.
they're going to like tell their people, like, when you're on the press tour, make it known that, you know, the last one was not the best.
Yeah.
And that's
Say you wanted your character to be in the movie.
yeah, that's just like that's such an ugly way to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
But Disney, or I guess all these other corporations too, they know the types of tactics to use in
The
this
sad
age
thing-
of social media and whatnot.
The sad thing is, I'm almost sure that like if they just could sit out the social media part of it for like a week or like 2
Yeah.
weeks, it would all blow over, and then the next thing would already be happening.
Right.
But they know that people can't resist like getting in on that immediate conversation, and so they'll stoke the flames and play it up, and it's just this short cycle that's always going
Right.
that people just almost at this point choose to not break out of.
Yep.
It's so stupid. I hate fandoms.
Even though our tagline for
Movies
for-
fandom fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
that
we
was back then.
Maybe we
That's
should
not
change the tagline.
Ugh.
Looking back on that,
Oh,
maybe-
it's like it's like, I mean, thinking of superhero movies, that classic Dark Knight line. Like when you're a fan, it's like you die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become a toxic fanboy, a toxic blind disciple of Disney.
I believe that's what the line was. Yeah,
I think that's what Aaron Eckhart said.
yeah,
I could be
that
wrong.
sounds about right. It was kind of weird in the moment, but I guess now that you think about it, it makes a lot more sense.
But who knows? Maybe all this will blow over too. Like if once after Star Wars is out and we don't have Star Wars movies for a while, Marvel movies are kind of more going to Disney Plus. Maybe the narrative will just naturally fizzle out. It probably won't, but
No.
I never get tired of thinking about this stuff because I want answers, but the answers aren't there.
And they never will be.
But we can get closer.
I think our tagline should be on to the next thing, because that's pretty much our conclusion in
Yeah.
every one of these. It's
I
like,
know.
in the end, even though everyone's
What can you
mad,
do?
it
Yeah.
won't matter. They're going to get mad about something else again.
We are true
And then
like,
we'll
capitalist
die.
consumers. We're like, that was great. Next, please.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're never satisfied.
It's because Disney's the master puppeteer of Disney and all the other corporations.
I don't know. I'm getting,
Not to call them out. Plenty of others.
I find that I'm, like getting it out of my system. I think after this last
Oh, yeah.
Star Wars, I am playing that Star Wars Fallen Jedi video game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm so interested in this new character now. All this backstory. I'm so invested.
Give me more.
That's how they get
No,
you.
it's terrible.
Cal Kestis, a Star
Yep.
Wars story.
Sometimes we're
81.
victims of what
Coming
we
to
say.
Disney Plus.
Well, because there's a real person that they based that off of. Dominic Monaghan, right?
Well, they designed him off of him.
Oh,
Yeah.
the actor, Cameron.
Cameron Monaghan.
Cameron Monaghan.
Yeah, so they could just have him play in it.
Honestly, I would love that. That actor is so good.
yeah, it
He's
would be
underrated.
awesome.
He's
It
a
would
good
be all
actor.
these
I would
like
hate if they made a series.
why it would be all
based on
these
that character.
rebel Jedi like
Because I hate backstory.
I like
I
backstory.
hate it.
I can't. I know we just talked about this fandom thing, but I just, I
We're
can't
victims
help
of
it.
our own.
I'm so-
I was just
I
saying
love
this.
just
We're
enough
victims
backstory.
ourselves.
But backstory is not a replacement for the actual story.
no, but I think what I like about backstory is because that can be actual story.
Yeah, I like going forward, not backwards.
Well, I'm not sure where the game ends yet, but because
Well,
I'm
he
not
dies.
done with it.
no, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't. This is the main
Maybe.
hero in the game. He doesn't die,
He does.
but he doesn't.
What if they took a risk?
I will Google it and find out. See, now you've
Now
got me
Cody's-
back into the fandom
Darth
thing
Vader
again.
impales him. And
Oh
that's how it ends because
would be-
nobody can beat Darth Vader.
no,
That's not how it ends. He doesn't die.
I didn't
Or
get an
does he?
orange lightsaber either.
Does he?
I'm sad.
He doesn't.
Your son chose a different color?
No, it didn't
Wait,
go
what?
orange. It only went yellow. There wasn't an orange option.
There's
I thought-
definitely. Oh, maybe that is right. I think orange was the pre-order.
It was the pre-order option.
Should we put some context into what's happening right now?
In the video game, you have to go at one point and build your own lightsaber. It's like a part of Jedi training, but also for the story, you have to go and rebuild it. And you got to pick your Kyber crystal, and you got to pick your color. And my son loves orange, so I really wanted to get him
yellow
orange.
for a while, and on my TV it looked orange. I was like, oh. Cool.
No, it was definitely yellow, and I'm like, I don't want a yellow one. So we went
They're
with
such
cyan.
close colors. Cyan, that's basically blue.
It's light blue. It's like almost like silver.
You had green the whole time because you didn't want blue.
I know.
Why would you go with cyan?
I didn't pick it.
You
wouldn't do
have
purple.
a sit down with your son.
It was both my sons, and there was a bit of a fight between two colors. So it was the one we could all agree on.
Was one arguing for like white and blue? It's like, just
one
go in
wanted
between.
yellow, which I was like, no, and one wanted purple, and the other one that really didn't want purple. So this was one we all settled on. I wanted purple too. It looked so good.
Honestly, I'd rather have the purple than the orange.
Purple, indigo, and pink. They all look cool.
Yeah. I kind of wish we would have picked the pink one now, because then we got a BD1 skin that was black and pink, and I'm like, it would have all matched.
I had that skin.
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. Well, should we talk about trailers?
Yeah, let's
trailers, baby.
More superhero stuff.
Yeah, now talk about, and these trailers totally fit in this fandom context.
Yep, completely.
We got a Wonder Woman trailer, Wonder Woman 1984. We got the new Ghostbusters trailer, and we got Free Guy, which doesn't fit in a fandom because it's an original.
It's in the gamer culture.
Yeah, gamer culture.
That's a good point.
Is arguably the most toxic of them all.
I was going to say, do you think gamer culture affected nerd culture with toxicity?
There's so much intersectionality with that stuff. There's so much overlap. So they fueled each other. They feed off each other constantly. Because I feel like a lot, like we talked about before, a lot of gamers who, I don't even know if they actually unironically consider themselves gamers, but people who play a lot of video games probably don't go to the movies as much because they're busy playing video games.
Right.
But when they do go to the movies, they're going to go see comic book movies.
Yeah.
So maybe that goes back
They're
to what I was saying.
They're not going to go see Irishman.
Yeah, if they've never actually seen movies before or gone out of their way to actually delve into movies, but they have seen Marvel movies and that's all they have to go off of. It's like, maybe that's why. I don't know. They'll die on the hill like, these are great movies. It's like, well, some of them have great parts.
Right.
Some of them are mostly great. But a lot of them aren't. I don't know why you're going to die on this hill defending that.
Yeah. I don't know either. Well,
because it's fun,
I
guys.
think Wonder Woman looks great.
I did like that trailer. I like the 80s synth soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Like the bright colors. She looks amazing. She had that cool new suit of armor.
Yeah, it was like
I didn't recognize her at first
like
when she did that. I was like, is that a new character? Oh no,
is that Carrie Russell?
Is that Ray's mom? Dark Ray's mom?
It's Gal Gadot or Gadot. I can't remember the last name.
Gadot, I think.
Gadot?
I think it's Gadot. I don't
know, because I think it was Kate McKinnon. She was on a talk show and she's talking about how they were, I think Gal hosted SNL.
Yeah, she did.
And she was talking about how Gal Gadot said her name like for everybody at the table, and I'm pretty sure you subtly pronounced the T.
Oh.
So I think it's.
Do you think she does it on purpose? Like she does it so subtly, so everyone's like, "Wait, which one? What was it?"
I have no idea. Pedro Pascal is also in the trailer, though. I thought he looked great, except that he's like has crystals, which I've talked about in the office.
Whatever you wanted. That's like how they bring back.
I hope they make that
Chris
a joke.
Pine.
Like maybe he thinks those are the special things, but then like somebody knocks them over and they break and they're totally worthless. Because that's like the most generic movie trope device.
Hey,
like,
they're orange crystals.
Get the crystals.
They're not pink or clear crystals.
Give me back the crystal.
Yeah, I'm really hoping everything
never
the trailer
behold the
looks
power
great.
Of the crystal.
Everything about the trailer looks great.
Except for crystals.
Except for the crystals thing. And I'm with Eric. Like, I want this Chris Pine reveal of him coming back from the dead or whatever to like be good and to be meaningful and worth it.
The crystal brought me back.
Instead of it being like the crystals, Wonder Woman, the crystals.
You have to destroy the crystal.
But
you'll die again.
Again.
Destroy the crystal.
Yeah, and
then that's gonna happen at the end.
Oh my god.
Which I'm praying that's not the case because this movie looks awesome and it looks like a blast.
Well, yeah,
that's really gonna make me be like,
until that like final showdown in the first Wonder Woman movie, like everything before that was like really refreshing and well done.
It's awesome,
and it wasn't like that carbon Marvel formula, and people picked up on that because it was a huge deal. It had crazy legs.
Wonder Woman
kind of a
did.
pun, I guess.
Yeah.
But
Kind of a weird pun, but okay.
but this one, like, I'm hoping it doesn't fall into that like Iron Man 2 trap, where like it's just, it tries to be like even more comic booky.
Have too many things.
Well, I feel like
Yeah.
it already is because it has 2 villains.
Well, that's what I was trying to remember in the
Kristen
first one, because
Wiig's
there really only was
villain
that
in
Ares
this.
villain.
Yeah.
Even though he had different looks, it was just the one villain.
Well, it was him, but he had that minion, the lady that liked the gas, the mustard gas.
Yeah, Dr.
Oh, yeah.
Poison or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't
So
know.
I don't know if this is like
Maybe.
another one where there's a big bad and then like a
henchman
henchman and
henchwoman.
Kristen Wiig,
or vice
I
versa.
mean,
who's
kinda building
obviously
her up.
crazy in it.
Yeah, she becomes Cheetah, and I guess Cheetah works with Crystal Guy. I don't know.
Or Cheetah just is a secondary villain that finally got what she wanted and then couldn't take it when
And
it
then
was
they'll
taken
kill her
away
off in
from
like 10 minutes. Like right when she actually becomes Cheetah, she'll die in the next scene.
Man, that would be a
Like
bummer.
Spider-Man 3 Venom style.
That would be a major
I don't know
bummer.
why these superhero movies don't learn from their mistakes. Just because you have more villains doesn't make it better.
No.
Usually it makes it worse.
I feel like you're attacking my excitement for the Batman, but no, I'm kidding.
Batman's
I'm
a little
kidding.
different because if I'm wondering if they're kind of doing what they did in the Arkham City game.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to treat these guys as the big epic bad guy.
They're the side
They're just
characters.
criminals, you know?
Yeah.
They're just criminals, like organized crime guys.
Yeah.
Like in The Irishman, replace all of those nicknamed Irish dudes with Batman villains.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what they're doing.
I think so too. I just wanted to make a joke.
Yes. But
Anyway, yeah.
I like the trailer,
trailer's-
but I'm cautious that the movie will go into that kind of sophomore slump.
There was,
I'm right there with you.
in our previous discussion about the article we referenced, there was a line in there. It was like, it really took off when all the superheroes had white male leads named Chris.
Yeah.
Which is
And then I
of
thought
course,
about
true.
that when we talked about this. I'm like, oh, Chris Pine, he was one of the Chris's.
Chris
a lot of
Evans,
white
Chris
Chris's.
Hemsworth,
Chris Pratt,
Chris Pratt.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Chris Pine.
it's
the Chris's.
looking
Dang.
back on that, not the best look.
It's okay. They finally course corrected. Oh.
They got a Chadwick in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last trailer, or the second to last, was Ghostbusters.
Afterlife.
I did not like
Cody doesn't like the kids.
it at all. I was like,
Cody doesn't
I
like the
don't
little
want to
kids.
watch. It's not little kids. It's like
Ugly
whiny,
kids.
ugly teenagers.
Right, according to Cody. I don't know. I wasn't crazy about the trailer either, but I didn't hate it. I mean, it was basically exactly what I expected. Maybe a little bit better than I expected because they didn't play the Ghostbusters theme song, which I totally thought they were going to do.
Yeah.
But I like that they didn't. But what I kind of assumed it would be was, hey guys, remember Ghostbusters 2016?
It didn't
no,
happen.
that's because it didn't happen.
That's-
This is the actual
That's
next
mainly
Ghostbusters.
why I like this trailer, because it made me forget about 2016's Ghostbusters. And honestly, it just looked different.
Yeah, I mean
It just looked different enough for like a Ghostbusters
I just-
franchise if you do want to make one for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
in this
It
age
at
where
least
all of
looks
these
different.
sorry in
They're
this
fine.
age where all of these like soft reboots do the exact same thing that the classic one did.
Yeah.
This one obviously isn't. It's like instead of it being like a bunch of little kids who start a ghost research science thing, they're just like living in like a rural like flyover state area.
Why
Yeah.
couldn't it
They're just trying to
be-
live life
Yeah,
as
they just
normal
kind of
as
stumble
possible.
upon the stuff. So it's a different approach. It's not the safest possible approach.
No, I just wish they were like 5-6 years older, like early 20s. Like I can't connect with teenagers, so
You've
But why
lost,
would
you've
you want-
lost your inner child?
But why would you want them
That's
as
so
early
sad.
20-year-olds?
it just makes more sense to me.
Would it though?
I don't
Or
mind.
would they be like in college and
I
then
don't
discover
mind-
this and then be like,
Yeah.
there's a sidecar. Whoa.
Honestly, I like
Yeah.
it as kids.
I like it.
Yeah, the kids part grew on me.
It feels more
I wouldn't
pure,
mind.
I guess.
I wouldn't mind college kids, and I wouldn't mind putting them in peril. Like the risk factor of that, I'd be like, yeah, maybe kill one off, and then
Oh,
he
they-
becomes a ghost. How awesome would that
All
be?
right.
They could kill one of these kids.
Nope.
in the first
Cody
10 minutes.
Didn't think about that, didn't you?
No,
first
I
10
did.
minutes.
That's why I don't like it.
No, I disagree there. I mean, like I said, originally I wasn't crazy
Weird
about
to look at.
them being kids, but that's because I wasn't crazy about the trailer as a whole. But as I sit with it, it's like, since the Ghostbusters 2016 was trying to be the exact same movie,
Yeah.
and it was just worse in every single way, this one obviously was like,
Except for
maybe
Kate
we
McKinnon.
can't just do the whole soft reboot thing. Let's literally just tell a new story, but with some of the same elements, ghosts and some of the technology.
I liked in this that they're making it clear, like, yes, the Ghostbusters were a thing, but no one really bought into it, and no one cares anymore, except for like maybe like the
Paul Rudd
craziest
does.
of like the craziest small fan base, which honestly is kind of realistic because I think the Ghostbusters fans out there is a pretty small group. As compared to other fandoms, I would argue
Well, it's
that
because it's not a fandom. It's just a good movie from the 80s. That's
One-
like saying like,
one good movie.
there's a fandom for
Yes.
like there's like some cons, and there's like people who love the TV shows and toys, and
yeah,
again, small fandom, but I think it kind of relates pretty well to this movie, which I also kind of appreciate.
I like Paul Rudd more than I thought I would. I thought he was going to be, I don't know what I thought he was going to be. I guess I thought he was going to be one of the like new Ghostbusters because I was expecting them to kind of do the same thing again.
Okay.
But then when I realized they weren't, I was like, oh, he's just their teacher. I
Yeah.
was like, I can see
Who's a
Paul
crazy-
Rudd. I can totally see Paul Rudd being a geeky, cool teacher.
Yeah, he's a
I was like,
geeky
I
super fan.
had you as my teacher like 3 different times. Like, I know the kind of teacher you are.
Yeah,
But still, I mean,
liked
I'm not
him.
crazy about it because I don't really need another Ghostbusters movie.
yeah, it's just like, does the main majority of people want a Ghostbusters movie? Probably not. Maybe
More-
they'll change their minds with this, but
The more I think about it
Probably
too,
not.
I feel like it's not totally fair that people are saying it's like another Stranger Things ripoff. I feel like people will say that about anything that has Finn Wolfhard in it. Like Finn Wolfhard
he
could
has
be
his
in
shtick.
like he
found
could
his
be in like a
lane.
romantic comedy, and people would be like, "Pff, Stranger Things ripoff."
Let's just be honest. That kid's not going to be a romantic comedy.
Dang.
Oh, I think he will.
Not even as like a side character.
People
like
love the quirky, like awkward character.
the quirky best friend to the guy who's trying to find love.
Maybe
Not
you
even
don't
that?
because you judge so many people
not-
based on their physical appearances.
God.
But
Quirky.
And this is a kid too.
he's
poor
going through
guy.
puberty.
I don't need to see it when I want a Ghostbusters
Leave
movie.
Finn Wolfhard alone.
I love Finn Wolfhard. I'm totally team.
I'm sure he's
Finn.
super good and
I'm
all the
team
other stuff he's
Finn
been
because
in.
I feel.
Have you seen
bad.
anything with him? No, I don't think so. You haven't seen Stranger Things or
No.
the It movies. What else is? I think he's been in like.
He's in that,
He was in that Goldfinch movie.
and he's
Yeah.
in a new horror movie coming out.
Oh yeah, that's
the
what I'm thinking
turning.
of. Yeah.
Again,
He
he,
looks-
has his lane.
he looks
He
so-
knows.
really
And for the
down in
age
that.
that he's at right now, totally ride it out. That's awesome. I'm sure that he'll make a transition when he's like out of that awkward
I just
puberty phase.
Don't find him like it's not just. It's
You've never
not
seen him
looks.
in
I
anything.
don't find him charismatic in the trailer at all.
You can't judge so strongly based off trailers.
I don't
Yeah.
No. You've never seen this kid act before, and you feel like this trailer where he literally only like says like one thing is like enough. I don't think
No.
that's enough. I don't think that's
I'll
enough.
wait. I'll withhold all judgment and not make a hasty decision on whether I'm going to see it or not until after I get a couple more trailers.
I'm probably. I mean, maybe I'll see it. I'm not like excited to see it, but I'm just saying like, hey, if you've never even seen the kid in anything.
I'm team Finn Wolfhard now, so I'm gonna see it.
Yeah, I'll probably see it. Good. But I don't know. Average trailer. Probably an average movie. But better than it could have been.
It makes me forget about the last one. So
Maybe
I'm
that
sold.
is enough.
I
Maybe
miss-
that is
It's
enough.
100%
I
enough.
miss dumb Chris Hemsworth and I miss Kate McKinnon. Those were the best parts of the other one.
Yeah, you have SNL.
Chris Hemsworth was funny. Kate McKinnon made me so angry. I thought she was going to be the funniest because I love her. I
Yeah.
think she is hilarious. But that was not what I wanted to
Tru-
see.
truth be
I don't
told,
know what she was doing in that movie.
Truth be told, I can't even remember which characters I liked in that movie.
I didn't like
I
any of
remember
them,
there was like
except
one or
for Chris
two of them
Hemsworth.
I liked, but now I can't think of which
I
one.
loved dumb Chris Hemsworth.
He was great.
Well, he was definitely one of them for me. Like he knows how to do comedy.
Yeah.
The rest of them, like
I don't
they know
think
how
I
to do
genuinely
comedy, but it
laughed
just
at
wasn't funny,
anything any of the other characters said.
which is very fair.
Yeah. It's a god awful movie.
Very fair.
Right.
Let's go
I
on to the
don't know
last
if this
trailer.
one will be
Which
better.
made us laugh more, right?
I liked
more
Free
than...
Guy. It was
Free
Ryan
Guy.
Reynolds' shtick doing
What is Free Guy?
it's about a guy who he comes to realize that he's in a video game, but
He's
he's
just
a
like a side
background guy.
civilian NPC
He's
in a
one of
video
the
game.
background players.
He's
not
one of
even
the
a
people that you
player.
run over for fun when you play Grand
Right,
Theft Auto.
but his whole world is just really mundane and very like similar. It's very programmed.
Very video game crazy.
Until he comes across those glasses that are like on the player characters that show the other level of what the player would be experiencing in
Yeah.
that. And then he's like, whoa, there's a whole nother level. And then he gets all these abilities and
See, the idea of it, I think, is cool.
yeah.
I mean, I like Ryan Reynolds as
I
much
love
as the
his
next guy.
promotion of this movie. I don't think this movie is going to be amazing, but his
I don't
promotion
either.
for it is so good.
It's
I
right
agree
now.
with you.
It's cool.
Well, about the
and
promotion part.
Yeah.
right now, it's cool and easy to get excited about because it is kind of an original story.
Right.
You
But
know?
it's just him doing his Deadpool stuff only.
exactly
Not
it's the Ryan
Deadpool.
Reynolds shtick, which is always at least kind of funny, I guess. But
Works on me.
I don't know. Like I said, the premise is cool because I used to like wonder that. Like when I was little and I would play like bigger role playing games or Grand Theft Auto, I would like follow just one of these random NPCs around.
Right.
Like what are they doing in this game? Like when I'm not playing.
Like Skyrim.
Yeah, I mean, I did it the one in Oblivion before Skyrim.
Yeah.
Because that's like was revolutionary at the time. Like these NPCs have set schedules. Like they
Yeah.
are living their own lives.
I know they
And
go
I was
in
like,
at night. They come
yeah,
out
they go to
during
bed.
the day.
They eat.
Yeah.
And they walk around for 12 hours, then they go
Right.
eat again, then they go to bed. Revolutionary. But so the idea to me is funny, and I think that is cool. And I like that they're embracing just how crazy online video games can make people's avatars look
Yeah.
with all these microtransactions and
As well
stuff.
as like scenarios, probably.
Yeah, because like in the
Guns
trailer, you see like a dude in like a bright pink bunny rabbit costume with like a jetpack and a bazooka. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much exactly what you would see
Yeah,
if you were playing
yeah.
one of these games.
Mhm.
It didn't have like a very out of touch, a bunch of old guys trying to write a movie about
No,
video
I
games.
think they totally knew what video games were.
Yeah, so that it has that going for it.
Yeah.
It does look funny, but again, I just don't know if it's gonna be that good comedy that sticks with me. That I
It's not Jojo Rabbit comedy.
no.
It does have Taika.
Yeah.
It does.
Oh yeah, it
Taika
does.
Taika
Waititi-
does
He was
star in
great.
the
He was
movie,
such a
too.
douche in that scene.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
He plays the douche boss, bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's his
Which will be
accent.
great.
How much of how funny he is his accent? Sometimes I wonder that with people that don't have American accents. I'm like, are you really this funny, or is it because everything you say sounds a little bit funnier because of that accent?
I think it's just mastering comedic timing.
Yeah.
He's very good at comedic timing, but on top of that, I feel like his voice is adding to it.
I mean, a lot of comedians
sure.
use like their inflections in their voice to make jokes funny.
I
So
don't
it's
think
probably
he
that
would-
too,
Would
yeah.
he come across if he had a really deep, guttural, like raggedy man voice? I don't think so. I think there's something
Maybe.
inherently funny about his voice in general. Maybe it's even beyond British.
Because
or
like it's the
what-
same voice when
he's
he
New
does
Zealand.
core.
Yeah,
He's
he's
from New Zealand.
It's
Yeah.
the same
Kiwi.
voice when he's what?
He's a Kiwi.
Oh yeah, it's the same voice when he's voicing that guy in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing at all. It's one of my favorite parts about him. I just wonder that. I'm like, New Zealanders are funny.
Who'd have thunk? Kidding.
So I mean, yeah, I guess if I had to pick, well, I used to think that I like the Wonder Woman trailer the most of these three,
I know I do.
and I probably still do. But maybe I like Free Guy more. I don't know. I go back and forth.
Well, I thought we were gonna play the game we did last week of yeah, meh, and ugh.
Well,
Was that what that was?
yeah, it would be my Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Oh, I
I
don't
would
want this
say-
to become a thing.
I would
I
say
really don't.
meh would be Free Guy, and ugh would be Ghostbusters.
Yeah, it sounds good enough to me.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll work.
I don't care enough about any three of them to argue that.
No, I'm excited about Wonder Woman.
Yeah, me too.
I need to see a little bit more. I
wanna
need to
see-
know more about the truth of those crystals.
I need to see Chris Pine in a fanny pack, jogging suit and a fanny pack.
Oh.
But who doesn't?
Who doesn't want to see that?
So, I guess what's coming out this weekend?
Well,
Jumanji.
Jumanji.
There's two
that.
others. I
There's
know.
Richard Jewell, Clint Eastwood's movie
Oh,
from
yeah.
Warner's.
I feel like that one would maybe do pretty good.
should do okay. It's getting a lot of like pushback from the media because of the way they portray the journalists in it. And it's
Yeah, I saw that, and that's kind of died down. And then Olivia Wilde kind of went on the film's defense, and I feel like that kind of shut a lot of them up.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
should've
but I mean,
let
it was
well written in her Twitter, but
yeah, and she raised
just
very good
move on.
points, but
that woman's not alive anymore to defend herself,
Yeah.
and she intimates that she had a sexual relationship to get her
with John Hamm.
Yeah, to get her information, and that's
honestly, I don't think this is going to be very controversial to the mass
I don't
public.
think anybody's gonna care.
no, they're not going to care that. But that's
It's only
why it's
film
created
Again,
Twitter.
it's the like less
controversy.
than a week Twitter outrage cycle.
Right.
Just sit it out, and
Yeah.
it'll be over.
It's a film Twitter thing. I don't think people.
So
have to
I don't
worry
think
about
that's
the
going to hurt
majority.
it because I don't think people care. Especially, I don't know if this is
Well-
going to sound a little bit bad, but especially the people that this is mainly geared towards, like more
The
blue collar,
old
rural,
people.
older flyover states.
Older gentlemen.
I don't think that they're going to see that scene and think anything of it.
No.
It's just
No.
going to be like, oh, remember when that happened?
Yeah.
No, but I don't think it's going to do like they want to compare it to a another one of Clint Eastwood's big films. What
Was it the 1517 to Paris?
I feel like it's going to do that kind of business where Clint Eastwood's not in it and he just directs it. But
Well, his last few movies haven't been very successful. I mean, The Mule as well last year.
The
didn't.
Mule was good. That was pretty successful.
Was it really?
Yeah.
For the kind of movie it was.
Yeah,
The
but
budget
he
it
was
was.
in
Oh,
it. And I
okay. For
think
some reason,
that-
I thought it wasn't.
I mean,
think
that's
that makes a
true,
big
but I feel like
difference.
it's easy to underestimate how familiar that demographic is with Clint Eastwood, and I feel like a lot of them will see it even if he's not in it. And there's not a lot of other movies that are going to act as that type of counter programming.
Bombshell.
That's
That's next week.
I don't think
yeah,
that's
that's
gonna.
next
I
week.
think
It's only released.
I don't
in
think
New
it's gonna
York and LA right
bomb, but
now.
I feel like it's gonna turn out kind of like how Vice did.
Right. Well, Vice worked in some markets and didn't and had kind of had legs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like Vice, this has a very obvious political angle, and
And the acting is what gave it credentials. Vice
Yeah,
was all about
but-
going and seeing those actors as those characters. It wasn't.
and a lot of people wanted Vice to be that political like takedown of
Yeah, and
Dick
it
Cheney,
wasn't.
but actually it was supposed to be about Trump because it's very topical.
Didn't it get nominated for Best Picture?
It might have been nominated for Best Picture, but critically at the time, people were like, "Oh, this isn't what we wanted it to be," because
Yeah.
they just either they're unable to or they don't go deep enough. They just kind of film the sensationalized headlines
Yeah.
and kind of put in a few jokes and call it good. So
What do we think of Black Christmas, the horror comedy that's coming out this
It
weekend?
only did like $200,000 in
Oh,
early
really?
shows.
I mean,
It is a
I'm
remake
surprised
of
by
a
that.
previous film.
yeah, the original was like from '79, and that's kind of like a
I
big
think it's
cult favorite.
PG-13, right?
This one is, yeah,
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think
it
that'll
is.
help.
maybe.
I don't think it won't have legs because it's just going up too much against Star Wars and
Yeah.
all the other
and then
stuff
by the
next
time all
week.
that's out, The Grudge comes out.
Yeah,
So that'll
and The
fill
Grudge
that
will-
niche market next
Yeah,
year.
The Grudge comes out January 3rd.
And The Grudge has a big following for whatever reason.
Oh, did not know that.
Like the original one, people. Did you ever go to school where kids would like talk about The Grudge as like the scariest movie?
I thought you were asking me, did you ever go to school,
No.
Kyle?
No, in my school, like The Grudge was like that movie that was like really
was the
scary.
Grudge the black thing that was like, tick, 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 tick,
It was like,
or is that the rain? Yeah, like
That's The
yeah.
Grudge.
That's
Honestly,
The
no,
Grudge,
I don't
okay.
remember. Then
Really?
again, I was so out of the loop on like everything in life. It's like I was oblivious to everything, so maybe that's just why I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, they're like the edgy kids. They were all like, "Yeah, I bet you haven't even seen The Grudge." It's like, no, I haven't.
You probably never even heard of it.
I know I didn't hear of it at the
I think they made
time.
like four. I think they made like 4 of them. But yeah, Black Christmas. I got off on a tangent. I don't think that's gonna do. I don't think it's
No.
gonna do very much.
Well,
Maybe.
this weekend is going to be
but-
all about Jumanji, and then next weekend is going to be all about Star Wars.
Yeah.
And
And that's that.
I think that's that for the rest of the year. I really don't think there's going to be Cats isn't going to do. I'm going to say it now. I don't think
know.
Cats is going
I
to do
don't know.
anything.
I feel like a lot of people are just. I mean, a lot of. In
I
my
do have a lot
experience,
of
a lot of
requests for it.
older audiences just genuinely are so psyched. Like, oh my god, that looks really great. That's supposed to be really good, right? That's a big famous musical.
Well,
But they probably don't know anything about it.
They have
Just-
not
They
even
probably think
trade.
they're supposed to like it.
They're not trade screening it till next week when it comes out.
Yeah.
So
I don't think
that
it's
way
gonna
it
be
can't
good.
get a negative Rotten Tomatoes score before it really comes out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's ever a good sign because
When
all
does
the other
Star
films
Wars reviews start coming out?
Have they not?
No, it's that, but that is more of
Oh.
a spoiler reason why
Yeah.
they don't do
Oh,
this.
yeah,
This
I
mean,
is
yeah,
not.
I'm
You're not
gonna-
spoiled by the story of
Then
Cats.
I'm going to guess Monday or Tuesday.
But I don't know which cat's chosen.
What?
I
Oh,
want to
in
know
the
which
story.
cat's chosen
to be the to
to
go
ascend
to descend,
I thought it
yeah,
was
or
the-
the
ascend.
next
the
life.
nice, pretty ballerina one at the beginning, the main one you follow.
I don't remember. The
My
trailers
money's
that
on
well.
James Corden.
He's the one.
With his-
He's gonna be the
With
one
his tap
ascending.
dancing shoes.
Yeah,
I want
he'll
Rebel
be the one
Wilson
ascending.
to make it.
I don't want any of them to make it. I want them all to die.
Do they die at the end and only one lives? Is
I don't
that
know if
the-
they die, but yeah, the whole idea is like which of you will be chosen to be reincarnated as like something better. I think it's some crazy.
Is that because of like 9 lives? Cats have
Maybe
9 lives, and they have
like we're all here on our 9th and final life, but one of you lucky kitties
gets a 10th life?
gets the 10th life as something more, implying that like they go to heaven or something.
I don't know. I don't know.
Again, all of this I knew nothing about, and then I was like, "What is Cats about?"
Yeah,
And they start doing research, and everyone's like, we don't really know what Cats is
Because
supposed
it's
to be about.
loosely based off just like I think a collection of lyrics and songs. It didn't really have a written
Well, yeah,
down
but like the
plot
original
story.
Yeah, even the original musical people were like, music's cool. I don't know what it's about. I don't know. But I do think it'll do weirdly good business. I don't know why I feel that way. But
what are we saying? Weirdly good business is like, and what's the rounded number?
Do you think it'll do 20 million to open?
Ooh.
Yes.
Do you think it'll do 40 million to open?
No.
nah.
I would
feel
say-
like I feel like it'd be close.
I would
feel
say
like it'll be
under
close.
that, like
60
30,
million
35.
to open?
No,
Definitely not 60.
Because that comes out Christmas Day, right?
No, Cats comes out Friday.
Yeah, it comes out the same day as Star Wars does.
As Star Wars.
Oh, I thought that.
No.
I thought that too for some reason.
Spies in Disguise and Little Women
Oh,
and Uncut
I'm
Gems
so excited
comes
for
out
Little Women
Christmas
and
Day.
Uncut Gems. Well, if it comes out the same day as Star Wars, that changes things.
I still think it could do 20 mil though.
Maybe. Again, this is where
I
I'm like,
like
I wonder
this
if
game.
I wonder if older audiences are like, oh, Star Wars.
see the weird.
I want to see. I want to see true cinema. I want to see art. Cats. That's what I think. I think that's gonna happen. Judging on like the 2 or 3 times I've been in the theater when that trailer
I
plays,
think they're like, I
There's
love
al-
Taylor Swift.
there's always an older
a
couple or
Swiftie.
like few couples who are like,
You see,
we need to see that. It's like, no, you don't.
as soon as the Cats trailer starts, you just immediately see this crowd of old people just moseying through, being like,
It's like a
pointing at the
It's like
screen.
a South Park joke.
Just
Yeah.
sucks
Totally
in
see
breath.
that. Yeah,
Oh no.
just
need
out
to
of
see that.
nowhere, just start shuffling to their seats.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it being released next to Star Wars.
Well, with Jumanji holding over, Frozen probably still going to be doing some business, and with
Yeah.
Star Wars, no, I don't think it's going to do what I thought it was going to do if it came out on Christmas Day.
Why do you think Christmas Day changes it?
Because I feel like a lot of people will have seen Star Wars by then.
You don't think it wouldn't have had competition with Little Women?
People's moms will.
How
wanna
wide
go
is
see
Little Women
Cats.
going?
It's going pretty wide.
I hope I get to
2,000
see it.
plus prints.
I did forget about Little Women too.
I feel like there's going to be some overlap between people who would see Cats and see Little Women.
I think so.
And Little Women is probably the better movie.
I'll
I
tell
think-
you
Don't wanna
right
make
now.
any
I think Little
assumptions.
Women looks annoying and boring all at the same time.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I think it looks fantastic.
I've been Little Women. I don't know why, but I've been starting to hear people being like, "Little Women is one of the best movies of the year," and I'm like, it looks good, but like,
I'm not surprised.
one of the best movie. I don't know.
Greta Gerwig's powerhouse.
What did she
Yeah,
do
she-
before this?
She directed
did Lady Bird.
Lady Bird, and that's a very good movie. That's like one of the best of that year.
It's like one of the most celebrated movies of the decade at this
Yeah,
point.
that's what some people are
And
saying.
People have been like super hyped on this because she was developing this before she made Lady Bird.
Yeah,
And then after Lady Bird, because they were going to use her script, and then Lady Bird came out, and they were like, oh, dang, she can do everything. So like, hey, you can direct this too.
And then they got the cast, and the cast is really good too.
And a lot of those people she worked with in Lady Bird, so.
Like, I'm going to see it. I'm wanting to check this out. I'm just saying, like, as of now, I'm like, really? This is one of the best of the year?
think-
I got to find out what the deal is.
Do you think that Cats is gonna be like Welcome to Marwen, or better?
Like in terms of just being
Oh.
awkward and painful to look at?
yeah.
Yeah,
Or do you think
totally.
do you think it'll do better? Like,
I think it'll do better. I mean,
Yeah.
it'll make more money because Welcome to Marwen just disappeared before it was even
such a
there.
bomb.
Yeah, that's true. The
gotta-
name brand is going to help
There's
cats
a-
more than Welcome to Marwen.
Idris Elba is gonna get some ladies in.
As a cat?
Idris Elba.
Actually, yeah, I could see that.
As a cat?
Yeah, that seems legit.
Yeah,
beef.
that in meme culture, people are going to be like, I don't know about y'all, but I kind of want to F the Idris cat.
Yeah,
I could totally see that.
yeah.
Look at the hams on that.
Pussy.
Oh.
You have to see
Mate.
low hanging fruit.
Do you think it's just old people and furries that'll be going to this?
What a
Maybe some
crew.
like big, maybe I feel like musical fans, like
Yeah.
diehard musical fans,
Or
and then just a bunch of people who are like, I gotta see what
We're
this
like,
is
we're
actually
going to get
like.
into Star Wars.
yeah. I guess we'll go see this.
This isn't Star Wars, but I'm liking it.
I'm waiting the 8
Christmas
days
time.
to see Star Wars. I'm gonna wait.
Good
It's gonna
luck.
be tough, but I'm gonna do it.
I watched the
I'm
most
telling you,
recent
that's-
TV spot.
Don't do it.
It was pretty spoilery.
It was. That's what I've read, and so I'm not gonna watch it now.
Wait, what was it?
They released the newest TV spot,
And
and I didn't even really know what I was watching, but I just kept watching it
Can
because
I
I was on Facebook or something.
Can I say hot take? I don't like that they brought Palpatine back. I just wanted him to be dead and gone.
I thought you liked it.
I just want
I thought I would, but
I just want to see how
No.
they
All right.
use him. I'm totally indifferent at this point.
I thought in the thing that he said he'd been the one manipulating Kylo Ren. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that doesn't
ugh,
surprise me.
Ugh,
He
bringing
manipulated
this guy
Snoke
back
to
again.
manipulate.
I want them
Kylo
to go
Ren.
really crazy and be like, Palpatine wasn't just Palpatine. He is the dark side. Like
Reincarnated.
the Jesus Christ of the dark side.
Like the physical manifestation of the dark side.
Yes. That's
Is there gonna
totally
be
what he
a
is.
physical manifestation of light then?
No. Because it doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
Doesn't need it.
What are we
'Cause
even
hope-
talking about?
Talking about Jesus Christ of the dark side. It's Christmas time. It makes sense.
Sure,
don't know.
Eric.
I just, for some reason, I've seen Last Jedi again, and I really liked where they left Kylo Ren and Rey's story. Like,
Mhm.
I really like that. I don't want Kylo Ren to be more manipulated by some other darkness. I just want them to figure out what that dynamic has to be, whether he is ever going to
Yeah.
really try to kill her, or whether they need each other for the balance.
Again, I'm not trying to speculate too much, but I don't think
I'm with
I
that.
don't think they're
Yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
do like I don't think he's being manipulated even more. I think he's just gonna realize that that's the like when because have you seen that TV spot?
I don't want to watch it. 'Cause
Yeah,
No.
neither have I.
Oh,
I just
well,
kind of read
there's like a
about it and I'm
tiny
like,
little
oh.
thing that makes sense in it,
Yeah.
and
What is it?
there's like a voiceover, and
All right, fine.
Palpatine's like saying something. He's like, "I've been every voice in your head," and as he says that, he says like, "I've been" in Palpatine's voice, and then it switches to Snoke's voice, and it's like
Yeah.
every voice, and then it switches to Darth Vader's voice in your head, kind of.
Yeah.
So it's like in Force Awakens,
Okay,
Leia's
that's
like,
kind of cool.
Leia's like, it was Snoke. Snoke turned our son to the dark side. It's like, no, you thought it was Snoke. It was actually Palpatine manipulating Snoke, I guess. I don't know. But I don't think that Kyle is going to be even more manipulated. I think he's going to find out, and then he's going to
Try to
the
be-
have to make a
cycle?
choice again.
He's gonna
I
be
don't
his
know.
own
Yeah.
man.
He's by far what I'm most excited to see from, because he's the best character in the sequel trilogy.
Yes. I've actually really come to appreciate him, even though he killed his father, and I don't like that part.
He's just a sad little emo boy. Nobody understands him.
I read something today in the
And he killed
article
his father.
about that. Was it maybe in the article? It was just about what a waste Han Solo's death was, because he didn't die for the cause, and he didn't die to protect to save anybody, and he
Yeah,
didn't.
that's why it's so sad, even
Yeah.
though it was totally telegraphed.
This is why I hate
He
it.
died so Harrison Ford can get the heck out of that
I know.
franchise.
I hate it.
We don't know he died pointlessly yet. Maybe that little hand touch is still Kylo still feels that
Like he's
touch
just
on his
alone in his
cheek.
room. He's just
Daddy.
I'm feeling
Daddy,
where he
no.
touched his face.
I'm so sorry.
Little sad emo boy.
There's many of us. I think we were going to end this like 20 minutes ago, and then we started talking about Star Wars.
Terrible.
The thing we criticize, yeah, we always have to come
Fandom.
back.
We can't
to
get
it.
rid of that as our.
We can a week from today. Actually, a week from yesterday.
No, movies, fandom, fun. We keep coming back to our fandoms. Only we're.
We should probably change that tagline.
We can maybe make it like.
I like the Star Wars movies.
Movies.
A lot.
On to the next one.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
still
say
like
that
it.
I am part of the Star Wars fandom in the traditional sense.
Right.
Like the movies.
I like the movies a lot.
Same.
I feel like our fandom is how we discuss it, where we all have our limits.
Fandom.
Yeah,
I like it.
we have like a good.
Yeah.
I don't want to say inclusive because that's turning into be like a PC word, but we have like a good, I think, balanced fandom approach, where I'm like, ugh, I really hate something, but I
I
don't.
still appreciate
I don't.
what I have.
I don't hate you for liking it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we can cross that milestone.
Imagine that type of podcast.
Oh,
I don't
hey,
like it
Kyle.
and I hate you.
I don't hate Kyle for liking the Daredevil Funko Pop when that's obviously the most boring of all the Funko Pops he's
Not
gotten.
the most boring.
Which one is your least favorite?
Oh, what'd you get today? I forgot to ask.
I actually
I didn't
got,
even see who you got.
I got Thanos. And it's
Oh,
really
you
good.
think you
I've been
would
on a
save him
hot
for the
streak
end.
with
Yeah.
the Funko Pops I've been
Does he have a
getting.
cape
Those are
too,
all-
randomly?
No. But I had like a hot streak of what was it? I think
I hit my funny bone, so that's why I made that sound in the mic for people listening. Oh,
what was it? Was a hot streak of like, oh shoot! It was the Miles Morales Spider-Man. Then I
Yeah.
got Doctor Strange. Then I got
Which
Black
was
Panther.
awesome.
Then I got Thanos.
Black Panther was okay. I
I
didn't
like the Black
cape.
Panther one. I don't know why y'all are haters. No, I'm
No,
kidding.
I just didn't like the cape. I
liked
liked
him.
my Black Panther. Where's mine? Like that one's pretty good, but I thought I had an all black one. In
Yeah,
here.
but those are like the movie ones.
I know. These are obviously not the movie
wasn't
ones.
that Killmonger?
The one next to him is Killmonger.
That one's. Ow.
I thought
that
that-
one's Killmonger.
But
They're
doesn't
both-
Why are we
Killmonger get?
talking about the things that people can't see?
I don't know.
Why are we doing this to people?
Yeah,
They
I thought that was
checked out.
Killmonger's like
Oh.
armor when they're fighting at the end because Black Panther has purple lights, and I thought
guess
Killmonger
so.
had
Yeah.
yellow lights.
So I have
You
two
don't even have a
Killmongers?
Black Panther one.
You have two
I do.
Killmongers.
I have two Killmongers and no Black Panther. That needs
Jeez.
to be rectified immediately. Come on, somebody
not
send
gonna
me
happen.
a Black Panther Funko
It's not
Pop
gonna happen
now.
immediately.
And make sure it has a cape,
No cape.
as it should be.
Okay, go see Jumanji. Maybe go see Black Christmas if you want.
How did I get
Maybe
two
go
of
see Richard
those?
Jewell if you want.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I think that's everything.
Should I do a shameless plug?
Please, because
Oh,
I
yeah.
just can't get over.
Oh, we do need to, because we
Yeah.
have a special announcement.
Go ahead.
It's been a
Finally.
long time coming, but our podcast is now on all
Oh.
podcast platforms.
Including
we're
Spotify.
on Spotify now.
Finally, I made it happen.
so, however way you guys were listening earlier, you can now do it on Spotify now,
if you
Yeah.
want.
if you would like to.
But if you've already been doing those other ways, you're probably just
Yeah.
going to keep doing it that way.
Or, of course, you're probably listening to it on silverscreeninsider.com, which, by the way, thank you. But be sure to check out all of our other features on the site, including our entire movie database of the upcoming films. Has all the marketing notes, marketing materials, information that you need, as well as fun articles like the reviews, shows all the trailers, and et cetera, et cetera, et
Yeah.
cetera.
Are
So,
your guys' Jojo Rabbit reviews up?
My Jojo Rabbit's up.
His.
His Jumanji, the next level is
yes,
up.
it's
Are you
up
gonna
now.
do
Yeah, it is.
Are you doing a review of Jojo, Kyle?
I don't think so. Eric really summed it up well,
Okay.
and I already talked about it on the
thank you.
podcast. No,
Oh,
it's a
nice.
really great review. You guys should read it.
Go check
Ditto
out the reviews.
Jumanji, not for Jojo Rabbit, because you don't have a Jojo Rabbit.
Thank you, though.
Ending this on a nice heartfelt.
Yes.
Nice.
All right. So everyone have a good weekend and be safe.